important reminder. All information and ideas are for informational purposes only and are in no way intended as medical advice or as a substitute for medical counseling. Earthshift products, Dr. Robert Cassar, all of their partners, affiliates, and subsidiaries will not be held accountable for the use or misuse of the information presented therein. This information is not intended as medical advice. The authors, publishers, and speakers of this work are not medical doctors and do not recommend the use of mineral-deficient foods, drugs, or medicines to achieve beauty and to alleviate health challenges. Because there is always some risk involved, all persons involved with the development and distribution of this information are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences of any kind resulting from the use or misuse of any suggestions or procedures described on our website or Earthshift Live radio talk show or therein.
To be able to bend, like I said, I couldn't bend a while ago. And it is truly a combination of things. There is no silver bullet. Okay, people say, oh, I want to start, I'm vegetarian, I'm thin, and how do I gain more muscle mass? Well, first thing is you got to open up the skin, okay? This skin here has to breathe, and if it doesn't breathe, you got problems, okay? Big problems. This is a solution that makes magic to your skin. It's actually vodka, but vodka by itself is a high-level poison, okay? It's too fresh water, too strong for the cells. So what we do is we actually change it just a tad. I take the Costco bought Absolute Vodka because it's the cheapest place I could find. $25 for a big bottle like this. I get 2 bottles. I make one, I make an acid solution, and I have another bottle, I make an alkaline solution. Because we know that vinegar, which is acid, and baking soda is alkaline. When you mix those two, you get one heck of a reaction, right? Okay? We know that the skin, each pore inside your skin has about 4 inches to 4 feet of hose attached to it. Okay? So if that is clogged, you can see it in the body. The transparency changes. Your body, as you can see it as you turn around, it's a piece of art. Okay? And you can manipulate it and mold it any way you wish. And what I found is this combination with softening the skin, letting it breathe, and then going underneath. Remember, the skin is 7 layers thick, so let's open the pores up and get some breathing. The nose is also what we call a breathing organ, but the biggest breathing organ is this one right here, okay? So, if we know that's true, then let's open the pores up so we can start to breathe, okay? Now, each pore, remember, is plugged. Casey, do you want to go ahead and actually, once we get on this now, this is what I want to show you now. Why? Why are you going to clean your skin? Why? So you can get cleaner looking skin? No. You're going to clean it because you're going to see what's living underneath the skin causing a huge change in your physiology. And we're going to show you some of these things. You probably won't believe them. Remember, these are real pictures. I'm a parasitologist, that's why I love this, because you can't believe it. You can't believe this. Watch. Remember, Stephen King tries to make movies that are really good. You got one going inside you right now. Now, what's that? Oh, you can bring that. Now, this is Earthshift Project, and Earthshift Project's actually a really cool idea. Earthshift Project is a private, not open to the public research, I'd call it an experimental research community or experimental research project. And we're specializing in actually 6 departments. First one is health, second one is wealth, third one is happiness, and we're going to go over these in a sec. Fourth one is self and group sustainability, and the 5th one is incension/ascension. And we can find most of these secrets as we're looking for in a lot of the prior systems that actually are already here. There's no need to make anything new or invent anything. Everything's here to be able to play the game right now. So Earthshift Project is for people to come together and actually share, learn, teach, investigate, and ignite each other to be able to actually unravel a lot of the secrets in these areas that, of course, we see at this time that are suboptimal. So we have 3 different ways here. We have problems, not problem, but problems. We have reactions and solutions, because we got to have solutions here. If not, what are we talking about? And it is the time right now. It is time to take the red pill or the blue pill. Okay? What is the red pill or the blue pill? The red pill is a consciousness that you have today, and a consciousness that you wish tomorrow would be the blue pill. If you're happy where you're at today, then we've got nothing to say. Okay? And if you're really curious about where your mind and your body can actually go to, because remember, this is a genetic and conscious movement. It's not what we really think it is, but the game here is genetics and consciousness. Are you ready for the shift? Remember, what shift? What shift are we talking about? There is a planetary shift happening at this time, and you know that the planet's raising its vibrational level up, we all know. Schumann resonance was 7.83 cycles back in the 50s, okay? Then it went up to 8.5 cycles. Greg Braden was talking about that for a while. Then we talk about, of course, that we see that everything's changing. And all we have to do is know, and we'll get on to this next problem, is remember, we have to stay in line with the planetary spirits, and we grow. If we don't stay in line with this vibration, then how can we go ahead and stay harmoniously in sync with the vibration unless we become it itself? So, we got some problems here. We'll just go over these quick. A lot of you actually already understand some of these things, but we'll just rip through these. Electromagnetic fields. Everything's run on 60-cycle electricity. Remember, we only run on 0 to 40 cycles per second, so that 60-cycle electricity is dangerously not too healthy for our 0 to 40 cycle mind. PVC, poison plastic. We'll see that PVC is a big problem now. Polyvinyl chloride. And all the derivatives of what you call a plastic world. Genetically modified organisms, parasites, heavy metals, cosmic changes. These are all actually what you could see as problems, but then again, you could actually see them as solutions too, because all you have to do is really understand what's going on. Let's go to the next page. Now, we're just gonna, like I said, this is a couple-hour presentation. Lots of you already really see some of the things, because we want to get into the solutions, but I want you to see that there is a masterful problem that you have to deal with yourself. Electrical magnetic frequencies. Electrical magnetic frequencies, which are measured in all devices that are using this electricity. Remember, this is a huge, huge problem. I have a meter that, Casey, if you can find it in there. This meter, of course, measures this invisible poison. There are also other invisible poisons. There's microwave, there's radio microwave electronic. We have one of these. They'll be available in about probably a week and a half. We have a very high sensitive model of I call it an ethereal meter, because you got to see this poison to stay away from it, because if you're not sensitive to it, well, then how can you feel it? So what this does is this actually tests the amount of electromagnetic activity. And in this room right now, we have very, very, very little, because it's shielded in here, okay? Very little electricity swimming around in here. And if I take this up to any device, okay, you can see how this thing sings to 100 milligauss. So right to this position here, it's 1 milligauss, and just from here to here it goes to 10. You can see that line. Look at how it flies up to 100. The thing doesn't go any higher than 100. So let's say this is my clock right here, and I have this next to my bed, and people wonder why I'm sick and tired all the time. Well, this may be one of your problems. And this is, I'm going to go into just for a sec, because this is an invisible problem, and that's why we're here, is to share things you can't see. So if you kept this next to your bed at night, or you laid on an electric blanket, or you had a variety of different types of electrical devices that you may be using, remember, my head, if it's right next to there, singing 100 milligauss. And that doesn't mean anything to you, but that's sucking your body electric dry. Dry. You cannot regenerate at night unless you have body electric. End of story. That's the reason why you go to sleep, is to regenerate. And to I call it, to re-ground yourself to the earth. The earth is a giant magnet, and we're a little magnet. And we have to learn how to be conductive to this magnet. I'm really light right now versus before. I used to be very heavy. So I actually feel more crystalline now. And there's nothing really to say. You'll feel the change immediately yourself. And you'll know you're on the right track just by seeing anybody that I've put on any of these programs before. And I don't put people on programs anymore. Remember, like I said, I'm not an authority. I just share with people what other people are doing, what I do. People ask me, 20 people here, what do you eat? What are you doing? Okay, well, this is why we're here. And remember, it's actually understanding everything first before you can play the game, and then you can actually run. instead of crawl and think that you're actually going in a direction like you have 20 other times before, and it wasn't the right direction. Sounded good. So, let's see, what do we got here? Oh, freeze up. All right. Now, if I was laying next to this, like I said, if this was a clock, and I'm sleeping next to this like this thing is drawing electrical energy out of my head, which is the worst place to draw it because that's my crown. That's where my supercomputer is, remember? That's where my silicon chip is. That's what those computers have in them, is a silicon chip, and our brains are also made of crystal silicon chips. And when we lose silicon, we have to lose the ability to be able to function, rationalize, and to be able to actually have higher levels of awareness, as they call it. So silicon is really important. I take a lot of silicon, okay? Now, silicon, remember, people say, what is it? We're not talking silicone, okay? We're talking silicon. Okay, different story here. This crystal is an amethyst crystal. It's got a number 8 hardness as diamond. Diamond's 10. It's made out of oxygen and silicon only, okay? But it's hard as a rock. Brain's a crystal. Once you lose the crystals in your brain, once you lose this idea of silicon, these machines here really draw the silicon out, is what I'm saying. All electrical devices here are basically drawing us of a lot of very efficient ways that our body fixes itself by itself. Now, this machine also checks radio microwave frequencies. You put your cell phone onto it. Remember, no cell phones up to the head. If you think that's not too bad for you, then think again, okay? I'm an electrical sensitive. I can't even put a phone up to my head for maybe 2 seconds. And if I do, then my head hurts for about maybe 2 hours. And if you can't feel it, it's maybe because you're not conductive to it, okay? So try to observe when you get around electrical magnetic fields. You have to have one of these meters, and you'll go underneath just some wires, and you'll notice it's about 20 milligauss on there. Remember, it's supposed to be zero. You go into the wires, and you just sort of feel it, and feel the irritation. And once you feel this once or twice on the meter, then you'll feel electrical magnetic disturbances. If not, you're just irritated, bitchy, or maybe you feel like something's wrong with what you're doing. But in actuality, it's actually an electromagnetic field giving you some weird itch somewhere you don't know how to itch.